Hi everyone, it's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and this is the Coolpad Note 3 Lite, our mini review after 3 days of use. Let's start with a look at the box contents. The box itself is pretty minimalist, just Coolpad Note 3 Lite logo, that's just about it. If we talk about the specs, you get a 5-inch HD display, MediaTek MT6735 processor, clocked at 1 GHz. Yes, it is a bit underclocked. We'll talk about that in a short while. You get 3 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of onboard storage. Now the first thing inside the box is the Coolpad Note 3 Lite. I'll keep that aside. You also get a free screen guard within the box. You have some documentation right there. And you also get a wired headset within the box. And you have a micro USB to USB data syncing and charging cable and a 1 amp USB wall charger. So that's everything we get inside the box. Let's have a look at the Coolpad Note 3 Lite. Now this is the white with champagne gold color. Now you have that fingerprint sensor right there as well, and let me tell you, it works brilliantly. So let's have a look at the build now. So in the front again you have a 5-inch display. On the right of the device you have the power lock and unlock button, which is actually pretty sturdy. It does offer good feedback. I think you can see a bit of a texture on the back cover because it is there. It's a very soft texture. It feels great to hold. It makes grippability far better. At the top of the phone you'll see the 3.5mm audio jack. On the left you have the volume rocker, which is again quite sturdy and does offer good feedback. At the bottom you have the primary microphone and the micro USB data syncing and charging port. You can also see this metallic trim running on all the 4 sides, including the camera module at the back, which is a 13 megapixel camera, and you have that excellent fingerprint sensor at the back, noise cancellation mic and the speakerphone at the bottom. The back has a very nice texture. As I said earlier, it is quite sturdy. Inside you will see that you have 2 separate SIM card slots. Both support 4G LTE. You can also see the SAR values right there. And you have a separate micro SD card slot at the bottom. Overall, given the 5-inch form factor, the phone feels great to hold. Both buttons are easily reachable and the grippability is really good with the matte finish back cover. Now if we come to the front, you will see a 5 megapixel camera up top, proximity and light sensors, and yes, there's a notification LED which you see glowing right there too. Now at the bottom of the display you have capacitive buttons which don't light up. Let's not dwell on that, we'll get to the display now. So you have a 5-inch HD IPS display. It has very good viewing angles, it is plenty sharp. You can see that the text looks really crisp over here. It has good color reproduction as well. The viewing angles are quite wide, there is no distortion in brightness or colors, and even outdoors this display is quite visible. The metallic frame on the side does offer some protection to the front panel as well. But I know you want to talk about that fingerprint sensor, so let's go ahead and set it up. Setting it up is really easy. Just enter the app, set up a PIN or a password, and then you can enroll any finger. It supports up to 5 fingers which you can enroll, and you can see how fast it is. You just tap your finger and unlocks. It doesn't take any time. You can also lock several apps with it. There is a lot of functionality built in with the fingerprint sensor. You can see right there Facebook was logged, and without the fingerprint it won't open up. Now let's talk about the camera. There's some functionality with the fingerprint sensor here as well. So the camera is a 13 megapixel unit rear, and you have some pro mode or the manual controls available here too. Shutter speeds are very good, just like the original Coolpad Note 3. Even the front facing camera here is pretty decent. You have a beauty mode available there. Some other modes are also available like normal shot, day night HDR, and the camera actually did work out quite well in the testing that we have done till now. And as I was saying, you can use the fingerprint sensor to click selfies. Again, very neat feature. The front facing camera, as I said, is pretty decent. The rear camera is quite good too. Excellent color reproduction and quite a lot of detail. It seemed a bit better than the original Coolpad Note 3 in our opinion, but we will be testing it out over the next few days to give you a final opinion. Yes, in low light the camera really doesn't shine, but the flash definitely helps there. Now let's talk about software. So you have CoolUI running on top of Android 5.1 Lollipop on the Coolpad Note 3 Lite as well. Now there are several effects built in, and you can simply switch to a traditional layout or with an app drawer by just going into settings, as I just showed you there. It's pretty easy to set up and then it works flawlessly. You have some themes available as well, and if you want to go back to the minimalist layout, just long tap on the menu button, go into preferences and select that. Now if you swipe from the top, you have your notification quick toggles. So Android 5.1 running on the top with CoolUI. You have 16 gigs of onboard storage, out of which about 11 odd gigs will be available when you get the device. Now apps can be moved to the external SD card. Sadly, app data is not movable. USB OTG is supported. Our normal SanDisk USB OTG drive didn't work, so I used an OTG cable and that actually worked perfectly. As you can see, it has been detected. And right now we are playing a 1080p video right off the USB disk and the video plays flawlessly too. And you can see right here, 2 gigs of RAM are free on the device. So plenty of RAM for multitasking, it just works brilliantly. Now there are some other features with CoolUI too. You have double tap to wake, you can draw several characters to open up different apps like M4 Music, but you won't be using these most of the time. So let's get to the multitasking feature, which you will be actually using. So we have opened YouTube and at the bottom we have PhoneBunch.com opening on Chrome. So you can do that with any 2 apps that you want. You can just edit and add the app that you want. Yes, it doesn't still work in landscape mode, but in portrait mode it's pretty useful. Which brings us to web browsing. Text and images rendered great, pinch zoom worked out well too, and you can see there is no lag while scrolling. And even in general, apps do open up quickly. There is a slight delay, but that's barely noticeable. And we played some games here too, just to test out how this phone would perform, because yes, the processor is a bit underclocked at 1 GHz. So just don't go by the specs. This phone does perform quite well in everyday tasks, and even Asphalt 8 at high settings did play quite decently. There was a slight hint of lag here and there, but that was just about it. Now this phone has similar specs to the Meizu M2, but it comes with a fingerprint sensor, an extra gig of RAM, a 2500 mAh battery, which is non-removable. But that extra gig of RAM really boosts performance over here. This phone performs very well. We didn't notice any lag throughout our review period. Now we expect the Coolpad Note 3 to be priced somewhere less than Rs 8,000. At that price, it would literally be a steal. Solid build quality, decent set of cameras, a decent display here as well, and that fingerprint sensor. We will be taking a further look at the Coolpad Note 3, its features and gaming along with the camera review. Stay tuned to PhoneBunch for more. Do share your opinions about it as well. Thanks for watching, do subscribe, and as always, have a great day.